Vacha Siti Vacha Rangyam Parikshita Prishta Yadavochan Hamuni Tapo Vidasaye Shumita Rangyam Pashanu Sarataha Suto Vacha Prajapariksita Prishto Yadavochan Mahamuni Govidasya Shinuta Prajapashnanu Sarata Shta Prishto Yadavochan Mahamuni Sutavacha Pragya Parikshita Prishno Yad Avochan Mahamuni Tadvo Vidasya Shrinuta Pragya Prashna Sarataha Sutavacha Sri Sutta Goswami replied, Pragya by the king, Prikshita by Parikshit, Prishta as asked, Yat what Avachat spoke, Mahamuni, the great sage, taught that very thing, Va unto you, Abhadashye, I shall explain, Srimita, please hear, Ragya, by the king, Prashna, questions, Anusarata, in accordance with translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Sri Sutta Goswami explained, I shall now explain to you the very subjects explained by the great sage in answer to King Parikshit's inquiries. Please hear them attentively. Report. Any question that is put forward may be answered by quoting the authority, and that satisfies the saner section. That is a system even in the law court. The best lawyer gives evidence from the past judgment of the court without taking much trouble to establish his case. This is called the Parampara system, and learned authorities follow it without manufacturing rubbish interpretations. Iswara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Nadir Adar Govinda Sarva Karma Karanam Brahmasamhita 5:1 Jai Shri Shri Gurudatan. Let us all obey the Supreme Lord, who stands in everything without exception. Thus then, the Bhakti Vedanta purports of the second canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled, Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. Then of the second canto. Don't have anyone anxious to hear your thoughts on Srimad Bhagavatam.
asked questions to Sukadeva Goswami in Parikshit. He was at his last. It was known that he was cursed, that he would die within 7 days. And so he decided to prepare himself for leaving the body. He understood that the Brahmin's son had taken offense by his putting the dead snake around the neck of his father and had pronounced his curse, and he had the power for it to happen. So he knew it would happen, and he could have tried to get the judgment appealed, as they do in an appeal court. If the judgment is given by the judge and the party still doesn't feel that it was fair or they're not satisfied with it, then they try to appeal it. But he didn't try to appeal. He accepted it, and he felt that he was guilty of misbehavior towards the sage, and so he was satisfied with the judgment. But he had some questions. He had questions, and naturally the questions are meant to be presented to someone who knows the answers. And Shukadeva Goswami, most qualified person. All good qualities there in Shukadeva Goswami. It's accepted as one of the 12 Mahajans. Swayambhu Narada Shambhu. That's Brahma, Narada, Lord Shiva, Prahlada, Kumara, Swayambhu Narada Shambhu, Kumara, Kapila Manu. It's before Kumaras, Kapila Dev, the son of Devahuti Putra, and Manu, there's 14 Manus in the day of Brahma, but Manu is considered one of the Swayambhuva Manu, or even the Manu more recently, as Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita, that he explained this science to the sun god Vivishwan, and Vivishwan instructed it to Manu. So let's see, Manu in this Manvantar. And Prahlada Janaka Bhishma. Prahlad Maharaj, Janaka Maharaj, the father of Sita, stepfather of, or father-in-law of Lord Ramachandra. Janaka Bhishma Dev, he was formerly one of the Vasus, and great personality, great authority. Even Krishna brought Yudhishthira Maharaj to the side of Bhishma after the battle of Kurukshetra, because Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was overwhelmed. He just couldn't bear the thought of trying to rule, and he felt that he was the cause of so much violence and suffering, and even Krishna tried to explain to him many persons. They could not satisfy him, but Lord Krishna felt that Bhishma would be able to satisfy him, and he did. So, and the last, Balir Vayasaki Swayam, Balir Vayasaki Vayam. So Bali is Bali Maharaj, and he's in the line of Lord Maharaj. And Vyasaki, that's Shukadev Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, great sage Vyasadeva, completely pure soul. He was self-realized even within the womb. And Vayam means the speaker is Yamaraj. Yamaraj spoke that verse, so he's also one of the 12 Mahajans. That means since Vidura is actually Yamaraj, who's come in that form. And he's also a Mahajan.
Dhanavir Maharaj, thank you very much. So this is Sutta Goswami speaking in response to the 5 questions in the previous verse that was asked by Shandaka Rishi on behalf of the sages of Naimisharanya. And these questions concern topics about Vidura and Maitreya. Dhanavir Maharaj nicely explained that Vidura is actually an incarnation of Yamaraj. He was cursed to take birth as a Shudra. But actually, he's a great devotee. And these subjects about the devotees, they're as much transcendental as the subject matters directly about Krishna. And the land of Navadvip or Mayapur, it is as much transcendental as the holy land of Vrindavan. There's no difference. And the activities of Shri Gaura Nitai are as much transcendental as those of Lord Krishna. And the activities of Srila Prabhupada or the great acharyas, they're as much transcendental as Lord Krishna's. And the devotees take pleasure in hearing about the activities of these great souls. And Srimad Bhagavatam is a narration of how, in the past, people attained the highest perfection by engaging in pure devotional service. So these instructions in Srimad Bhagavatam are very relevant to the present day. In the present day, there's so many problems, and the answers to all the solutions to all the problems is right here in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's such a nice literature, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the most important of all the Vedic literatures. It's the cream of all the Vedas. And Sutta Goswami says to the sages of Naimisharanya to please hear this Srimad Bhagavatam attentively. Attentively means with rapt attention. So everyone should try to hear Srimad Bhagavatam with rapt attention. But no one can hear with attention who is not pure in mind. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. And no one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. So this is the secret to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is one should hear with a pure mind and pure senses. If if there is static in the mind, then the reception won't be as clear as someone else who is hearing, who is in the mode of goodness. So if one is in the mode of goodness, he could hear things in the right position. He could taste things in the right position. He could see things as they actually are. So there are three modes of material nature, and any boy can be trained, even if he comes from a low background, a boy can be trained to rise to the mode of goodness if he takes shelter of a pure devotee. And this is the aim of the Krishna consciousness movement, to create a class of intelligent men, because it's sorely needed in the world today. And this RBC is meant for training up Brahmins. And the sacred thread is giving during this fire sacrifice. The sacred thread is given to the candidate for Brahmin initiation, but the sacred thread is not given to the woman, because by nature a woman cannot rise beyond the modes of ignorance and passion. But a man, if he's trained, he could rise to the mode of goodness. So this is the explanation why women are never given the sacred thread. So everybody's following some authority. Back in the 60s, there was a tendency among the youth of America to reject the established authority, but they were following the authority of other persons, like the Beatles or Allen Ginsberg. And when Prabhupada went to Moscow, he told Professor Kotovsky that everybody accepts some authority. We accept Krishna, and you accept Lenin. So if we want knowledge, we have to take it from a higher authority. So we accept knowledge from the Shastra. The Shastra is the highest evidence. And there's the other religious systems. They also accept Bible or Quran. And I was formerly following a denomination of Christianity that followed the King James Version of the Bible. And this King James Version was considered authorized, and it was published in the year 1611. And we considered other denominations of Christians to be more or less heretical, because they were not following the proper authorities. But when I was a teenager, I also started doubting Christianity, because I couldn't find anybody who was actually following Jesus or following the Bible. So the first time I visited a Hare Krishna temple, I went with my mother and father, and we were both we were all attracted by the nice temple, and the devotees were very welcoming, and there was a rousing kirtan, and we all began chanting and dancing, and the feast was actually spectacular. It was out of this world. So even though we all had to sit on the floor because there were no chairs, because the complete atmosphere was saturated with God consciousness and transcendental. We all felt a very pleasing atmosphere. And because my mother and father were older, they were not able to follow all the regular principles, but they respected those who were able to follow the four regular principles and chant 16 rounds Hare Krishna mantra daily. And my father and mother very much liked the kirtans. They also engaged in chanting and dancing, but when it came to hearing the philosophy, they were not as attentive as the other devotees. And sometimes my father would fall asleep during the lecture. And even when they were hearing Srila Prabhupada speak, so many thousands of people heard Srila Prabhupada's lectures, but there were different qualities of reception. Those who were raised to the mode of goodness, they could hear more attentively than somebody in the mode of passion or ignorance. But still, if we go on hearing, still is every time we hear this transcendental sound, it cleanses more and more rubbish from our hearts, and we lose the tendency to make some rubbish interpretations of shastras. So the shastras should be taken as it is. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada published for the first time in English Bhagavad Gita as it is, and Srimad Bhagavatam as it is. These are very valuable literatures, and they should be distributed profusely all over the world in as many languages as there are. Just like the verses of Bhagavad Gita are as clear and direct as a sunshine, and they don't need some imaginative interpretations by fools and rascals. These interpretations are just like clouds trying to cover the bright sun of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Are there any comments or questions? Yes, Donovan Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me? Hare Krishna, can you hear? We're getting ready. Can you hear me now? So just wanted to clarify in terms, you mentioned Bhagavad Gita. So isn't there also a statement in Bhagavad Gita that all types of persons, whether born as a Shudra or a Vaishya or a woman or whatever, if they engage in devotional service, they can also attain the highest perfection and come back to Godhead, which is beyond the modes of material nature?
Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that even if even if one is born from a lower situation, such as women, Vaishyas, and Sudras, they all can be elevated and attain the highest perfection if they take shelter of Krishna, because Krishna can purify even the most sinful person. So if one takes shelter of Gaura, if one submits himself to a pure devotee of Krishna, he can be elevated in one lifetime and go back home, back to Godhead. So this is the greatest benediction of the Krishna consciousness movement. By the grace of Gaura, so many fallen souls are being elevated all over the world in all 6 continents: Africa, Asia, North and South America. All kinds of malechas are being raised to a higher status of life, and this is all due to the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes the activities of a pure devotee are more wonderful than those of Krishna himself. Even Lord Chaitanya, he preached Krishna consciousness throughout India. He predicted that my name will be heard in every town and village. But not till the advent of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada was this prediction actually carried out by Srila Prabhupada. Any comments or questions? Yes, Rishi Kumar Prabhu.
I was just wondering, like in the verse we were hearing that the saner section of society just wants to hear like from authorities the truth. And I was wondering whenever I see videos from like when Srila Prabhupada was walking on the planet, Srila Prabhupada is speaking like very straightforwardly, and all the devotees are speaking like very straightforwardly Krishna consciousness. And it seems like there's like a lot of like fired up push for like book distribution and preaching and these things. Like wherever he goes. But I was thinking it seems like today it seems like things are different from my limited perception. Um uh, so I don't know. I was just wondering like what, like I don't know, it seems like people are more interested to preach in a different way, like here's what we believe, and uh this is like our tradition, one of the many religions and traditions, you can take it or leave it if you like, rather than just like the I don't know if I'm making sense, but it just seems like things are different today, and I was wondering if they are, and if so, why.
When the Acharya comes to this material world, he reestablishes religious principles because he's the representative of Krishna. But when he leaves this world, sometimes those religious principles again become distorted. So we have to be very careful to follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada and preach boldly like Prabhupada preached. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to say that those who compromise are useless. So we should not make any compromises with the pagans and vegans and other fools and rascals. It's time for the Sankirtan Festival. Thank you for hearing attentively. All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Okay, so for this week of February 26th, we'll read the Sankirtan scores for the pleasure of their lordship, Sri Sri Gauranitai, Lord Nrsimhadev, Tulsi Maharani, the Sampradaya Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Danavir Goswami, and all the assembled devotees. We had 7 book distributors this week. So in 7th position, with 1 small book, 1 medium book, and 1 big book, for a total of 1.75 book points, Jagannath Prabhu. Haribo. In 6th position, with okay, well, they're both tied for the 7th and 6th position. With again 1 small book, 1 medium, and 1 big book, Magadari Prabhu. Ki Jai. And then in 5th position, with 1 Maha book for a total of 2 points, Maturnath Prabhu. Jai. In 4th position, with 1 small book and 4 Maha books for a total of 8.25 book points, Bhakta Kartik. Haribo. In oh, okay, yeah, we actually had 8 book distributors. Haribo. Okay, so tied for that 6th position with 1 Maha book for a total of 2 points, Krishna Nu Prabhu. Jai. Okay, sorry, I just gotta make an adjustment on this list here. Please forgive me. Okay, so now in the 4th position, or okay, next with 4 small books, 4 big books, and 3 Maha big books for a total of 11 book points, Radha Damodar Prabhu. Haribo. You made this and I get to offer it back to you. It's like the whole philosophy. With okay, in 2nd position with 5 small books, 1 medium book, 4 big books, and 6 Maha big books for a total of 17.75 book points. Bhakta Joseph. Haribo. Bhakta Joseph? Bhakta Joseph. Where is he? Okay, in 1st position with 1 small book, 2 medium books, 24 big books, 21 Maha big books for a total of 67.25 book points, Rishi Kumar Das. Hare Krishna. And the RVC total for this week is 13 small books, 5 medium books, 34 big books, and 35 Maha big books for a total of 110.75 book points. Haribo. So one highlight from this week, we went to I'll say one for Dr. Joseph too. Or does anyone have his phone number? We can call him. No, we can call him and have him say it, right? Why not? I don't see why he wouldn't want to say it. He's pretty cool. So we were at the park and we distributed the Sapta Rishi set, 7 books. Somebody there, and I was fired up. But then Bhakta Joseph distributed one to somebody there too, and we were tied like 1 for 1, and it got pretty intense. We were just running around trying to talk to anybody we could there, so it was pretty ecstatic. So that was my highlight. And here we're gonna see if we can get him on the line to share his experience of giving this guy a sapta. And then you can do your highlight next if he doesn't answer.
Do you want to give money?
I was at the feast, and Rishi Kumar who said, "You should go talk to this guy in the blue shirt. He looks really cool." And I said, "Okay." Jagannath was talking to him, and he was telling him some really cool things that the guy really liked to hear, actually, about Krishna being able to do anything with all of his senses. He like connected it to his like musical understanding, like seeing with your ears. Yeah, anyways, it was interesting. So I talked to his Jivadayas friend, and I just told him about the Bhagavad Gita and the philosophy, and he was really into it all. And then I offered him a Bhagavad Gita, and he took it. Hare Krishna.
So we went to the mall, Legends Mall, and see, I just distributed some small books there. Can't really remember. I distributed a small book to one Indian couple, to one Black Mataji, and maybe some Spanish guy. Not sure. And then Kartik got a sapta before he left. So that was basically, what is it? Transcendental book distribution ki jai.
I saw an Indian boy at a bus stop and I gave him a Bhagavad Gita and I told him to come to the temple.
Um, so this was at Loose Park with Rishi and Bhakta Joseph. They were distributing, they were being ecstatic. So I kind of went on my own. They went, Bhakta Joseph and Rishi went one way and I went the other. And then there was this lady sitting in the park, and she was meditating, and I asked her, like, "Are you meditating?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm trying." And I go, "Well, these are books on meditation and yoga, so you should take a look at them." She was like, "Oh, really? Like, I'm really interested in this stuff." And what else? I tried to tell her about the books, and like I think I told her about, no, what did she take? She took a science of self-realization and a nectar of instruction. So I told her about those things. I don't know. I tried to get her the SUPTA, but she wasn't going for it. So um try to do that, but it didn't happen. So um yeah, her name was Shay. I remember that. And that's it. Thank you. Transcendental Book Distribution. Ki Jai.
So I went to the Aldi's and then I met this guy in the line, and he was like a trainer of some sort, and he was there with his client and they were buying groceries. And I showed him the SUPTA. I just decided to start carrying the SUPTA into all the supermarkets and everything. I'm still a little scared to give it to people, but I think if they just bring it, it'll be a good start. So I brought it and he really liked it. And but he said he didn't have any money or anything like that. But he convinced his client or whoever he was with to pitch in a couple bucks for the SSR. So I had that one and I gave it to him, and we did it all in the line as we were trying to check out. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai.